Welcome back to Societal Evolution. Before we dive into part 2, if you haven't already watched part 1, I strongly encourage you to do so first. In our last discussion, I sat down with Simon, who shall remain anonymous, to explore some hard-hitting truths about the state of our legal system, individual rights, and the creeping overreach of authority. We talked about how so many people unknowingly give away their power simply because they don't understand the law. We also discussed how legal institutions rely on this ignorance, often leading individuals into traps where they comply without even realizing they had a choice. More importantly, we started unpacking what it really means to reclaim your sovereignty, to stand firm in your rights and challenge the system where necessary. Because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. The more you understand how these mechanisms work, the less control they have over you. Now, in part 2, we're taking things a step further. We'll be breaking down practical steps you can take, exposing more of the hidden structures that shape our daily lives, and discussing what true change might look like. This is not just about challenging the system, it's about taking back control, thinking for yourself, and refusing to be led blindly. Right, let's get started then.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what else I've got there. So the first hearing I did, and I tried to get it dismissed, and they were having none of it. They wanted a hearing. So then I had to, I'd made all my case, and I'd sent in the motion to dismiss as well. And the application to dismiss. And they were having none of it. They basically just sat on it. So I called them and I said, look, there's an application to dismiss on this case, and that's the one that I've sent you, and you're going to put below. I need you to make a judgment on it, make a call on it. And they said, "Oh, we'll do that at court when you come." So then I wrote for judicial oversight. I'm just looking at the documents. There's another document I asked for a judicial review. Says, no, I need it done before. So that was 2 applications waiting. They say, we'll deal with them both on the court dates. That didn't work. And then at the same time, I'm just looking at the applications I've got here. At the same time, I wrote an application to show cause against the prosecutor because they continued to take my money and they hadn't returned the money. And they said they will return the money after the case is done. And I said, no, the order has been set aside. So you no longer have an order.
That's right.
Take the money. It doesn't exist. So therefore, give me. So that was one. So I applied for sanctions against the prosecutor as well.
Brilliant.
And eventually, when we got to court, they basically just gave up and says, "Oh, not guilty. That's it. Off you go." I thought, "Oh, well, what about my costs?"
Did you get an apology or any explanation as to why they hadn't produced anything in the first place? The prosecutor hadn't given you a written charge or anything.
No, nothing at all. And that's why they just wound it up there and then, because they couldn't answer, I don't think, the things that they were lacking. And I got costs, but there's something that people might.
You got the costs as well, so you got your money back and costs.
I got my money back and costs. I got my money back.
Good for you. Good for you. I mean, but this is the beauty of this. How many people did they sting with these COVID files?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Unbelievable.
You stood up. This was your first court appearance. You stood up, right? And this then set you on the path that you're on to go on and do, bigger, greater things and help people in the way you have. But I mean, just your first application notice is brilliant, and it lays out the law very succinctly, and it pulls apart their procedural deficiencies. You know, there's no free man maritime law fucking nonsense here. This is just, look, guys, this is what you're moving under, and it's wrong because it's to do with this, not this. Yeah, it's control of disease, not control of healthy people.
Right. You've got no authority to control healthy people, and I'm sure Graham will tell you, neither can you ever have any authority to control healthy people if we live in a free society. Which
you've got it.
The way Parliament or government is working at the moment, we do not live in a free society.
No,
because
it's the illusion.
When Parliament has a majority, if we accept, but it doesn't matter if we accept. If the bigger gang accepts that parliaments can make anything law, and that's what they enforce, then as long as there is a majority in parliament, we do not live in a free society. Because if they have to vote according to the whip, and if there's a majority, they could make left-handed people, must stay in at the weekends, and that would be law, as long as those that enforce the law believe that Parliament can make anything law. And right now, that's what they believe, and that's who we are fighting. So we have to fight them with the law as they see it. And every now and again, we have to trickle in the other suit I sent you. That was trickled in, not Freeman stuff or anything like that. That was far more constitutionally based on our rights, as well as the law. But it was trickled in there in support of.
You've got it brilliantly done. Plus, you pulled apart their procedural deficiencies.
Yeah, we really need to revisit Parliament. In my view, it just doesn't work. We should not have a majority for anything. If we can vote somebody out the jungle with 20 million votes in an hour, surely we can vote on every piece of legislation that the so-called government want to inflict upon us.
It's education. It's bringing a parliament back, a parliament full of educated ministers that are beholden to, educated in, and respect the English Constitution.
Well, absolutely, but
they're as far away from that. These guys are empty vassals, really, for Israel at this point.
Well, during this election period that came up, there were candidates coming to talk to me. I was sitting there thinking, I'll vote for you. Yeah, sure. Just tell me how Parliament works. How do we make laws? What's the idea with the House of Lords and the House of Commons? Well, we've got to go. Sorry, his help would pull him aside. I'm thinking, these are people who are going to be making laws. You just want, I don't know what they want, whether it's a pension or something. But Parliament was set up when you couldn't have 20 million people's voice. So they sent the most educated around from the community speak for them. Well,
we've got to get back to communities, and we don't need 600 politicians. We
don't need any.
One from each bloody county.
Well, we don't need any.
No, you're right.
Day and age, if we can vote someone out the jungle on our mobile phones, in an hour they can have the decision.
Yeah.
Well, we can vote for whatever. Give us all a vote on our mobile phone.
Just mass referendums all the time.
Every time, because it could be done.
No, I totally agree with that.
What was the number of voters at the last election? Was it 30 odd million or something? I can't remember. It wasn't.
To be honest,
it wasn't that many. I think
no. It was a vote against. It was the lowest, one of the lowest turnouts, and it was literally a vote against the Tories because, and the few Labour voters, really would have voted for a dog turd with a red rosette on it.
Absolutely. I mean, so if it's only 30 million, I mean, I don't know what it is now because I think there's a jungle thing on at the moment. But the last jungle thing I watched was probably 5 or 6 years ago. But I think there's 20 million votes on one Saturday night.
Well, the public engaged with that. You're quite right. I mean, I don't.
Why can't we have every single piece of legislation, and you just log on your mobile phone, and they could all be listed there, and you can touch one, vote on that, for or against, and it can have a link, and it can give you the background of it. We don't need a Houses of Parliament anymore where it's full of corrupt, allegedly uneducated or uninformed or self-serving people that cost us a fortune.
Yeah, I totally agree.
If we can spend 30-odd billion pounds on track and trace and it goes in the bin, I don't know how many billion on...
That was 3 billion apparently on that.
Track and trace? I thought it was 34 billion.
Well, it might well be 34. I don't know.
I think it's 34 billion on track and trace. It was a lot of money. I'm not sure. It's only what I've heard. I can't remember. On what do they call that protective equipment? There's billions of pounds of that going to rot in the New Forest and
landfills and coming to a beach near you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all sorts of money wasted all over. We can send billions to Ukraine to support things that we've never been asked about. You know, well, Russia keeps Russia haven't threatened us that I'm aware of. Russia
they haven't.
They could flatten Ukraine in an afternoon, just like we did.
Of course they could. And the fact is, I mean, if people just understood, if they actually read the Minsk Accord, the Minsk Treaty, they'd understand what was really going on, and the fact that the previous democratically elected Yana, I forget his bloody last name, but was taken out by the CIA.
Yeah. I mean, the video's there with the audio of the phone call on YouTube. Anyone can go.
Russia have been very tolerant of NATO at this point.
Well, again, since the Soviet Union became defunct, and there was only one superpower, who's been the aggressor? Who's been the aggressor? Use your own eyes.
NATO.
So who's the bad party? The Russian bear that we've all grown up being informed. And I joined the military because, you know, I did do it for, you know, Queen and country. I did do it to protect my family and my friends. That's the reason I did do it. You know, not for giggles and, you know, it's a bit of action or any of that. I actually did it for what I thought were the right reasons.
Yeah.
Sitting there thinking, well, when there's no Soviet Union, have we gone around abusing that power? I don't know. Has Russia made any threats to the United Kingdom?
No.
None at all that I'm aware of. We went in, and I think 3 days, what did they call it? Hellfire we'd rained down on the Iraqis, NATO. And it was flattened in 3 days. Russia's 3 times the size of us. If you don't think they could flatten Ukraine in an afternoon, if they wanted to,
I agree.
I think you're delusional. But
people are lazy. I mean, my best mate down south, right? He's a cracking guy, good heart. You know, do anything for you. Give you his last pound. You know, if it would help you. That's the kind of guy he is. But he's desperately asleep. He says to me, Damien, he said, it doesn't matter who comes in government. He said, at the end of the day, I'll either be 20 quid better off or 20 quid worse off each week, you know, with regards to tax. He said, I'm quite happy to be one of the sheep. I said, I don't need the grief. I don't think the way that you do. And I'm like, I get it. The way he articulates that argument, and I'm like, I get it. Although he does listen to me. And it sinks in.
The trouble is, you can alienate your friends because it becomes a passion, and they don't want to always be talking about this subject every time they see you. After a while,
I agree. No, I put a lid on it.
Yeah,
I just sit down. Well. I go back to pre-awakening. I go back to, you know, we'll sit down and we talk football and you know, all the, you know, the bread and circus sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just
what I do,
£20.
I don't alienate him. We've been friends for so long.
Yeah.
And, I'm not one for going down the pub. He wants me to come down and get pissed with him. I'll sit and have two halves of real ale, like an old fart. And he'll be knocking back the lagers like I used to back in the day.
Yeah. Well, we are old gits now. I mean, if you looked in the mirror sort of thing, I do it every morning. I want to complain. There's somebody looking through my bathroom window.
But that was something that changed with me through my awakening. I just stopped drinking.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. I sort of rejected the old ways, the old habits. I stopped smoking, everything. I just, in a flash, the beginning of Covidius Minimus, so I just, boom, everything changed. My mum blew my head off with giving me a link to The Fall of the Cabal, Janet Isengard. I watched that, all of it, that and the sequel, so the first parts 1 to 10, and then the sequel was parts 1 to 30, and it was just boom.
Yeah.
Oh my God, everything I knew is a fucking lie. Ah!
Yeah.
And
well,
then
that's the problem.
I had to then get past that. It was like a grieving period. It was like, right. And then I would then broach these subjects with friends and realize, no, they don't have a fucking clue what I'm on about. And now I'm beginning to sound a bit nuts. And then you end up, I came away from a lot of them and finding my own tribe.
Yeah.
So you think, Simon, you and I are talking like old friends the way we are now. I got speaking to Gavin 3 or 4 years ago. We became friends, and I've met loads of people, in this sort of truth and movement, good people. And you form your own new alliances, new friendships, a new tribe. And I found that lots of awake people have gravitated towards me in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm fortunate I've still kept 2 of my old besties, but I'm very mindful when I'm with them not to bombard them with too much new information because it'll just fucking do their heads in.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all struggle a little bit, and I don't know how. You can try to tell them, and you can even send them the links to, like you say, The Fall of the Cabal and this.
They wouldn't watch it.
That's the problem. So, that's the difficulty. But trying to explain to your friend, it's not the £20 worse off or better off. It's your freedom. It comes back.
But the problem is their freedom hasn't been infringed yet because they can still go down the pub and drink. They're still earning good money in their trades. It's not come to their door yet, Simon.
It's every day it's at their door. They just don't realise.
They don't see it. They don't see it.
The communism is everywhere.
Yeah.
And nobody sees just how bad it is. No matter what you think, whether it's, you can't park there because, or everywhere in their work, you can't do this because, and it's for others.
Well, you think about this, right? Yellow paint is stopping people parking somewhere.
Yeah.
Some yellow paint is actually stopping a man in a car stopping somewhere. How mad is that concept?
Yeah.
Yellow paint is stopping you parking somewhere. Not your decision that it might be too dangerous. It might infringe on other people's.
That's well, we can't do that now, I'm afraid, because it's people have lost the moral fibre that I was speaking of earlier. They sit there and think it's all about me. Whether that's because we're overworked, overstressed, with all of these infringements on our freedoms and our liberties and our rights. So we're going to be more selfish because we don't have them. If I had a lot of sweets, I would share them. If I've got 1 or 2 and somebody tries to take one, I'm going to not be so keen on that. So, and it's the same with anything. So now it's become self-sustaining. We need the yellow lines because people will park in the middle of a dual carriageway because they'll say, screw you, I want to go and get a bag of chips from the chip in. I'll queue 20 minutes and there can be a 4-mile tailback now.
Yeah, true.
That's how we've become. And
because People aren't sovereign, and sovereignty is purely self-responsibility, self-reliance.
And if somebody does that, maybe the answer is, if somebody does park outside the chip shop and cause a 4-mile toba, maybe 2 or 3 blokes get out the car and go and talk to the bloke. And that's maybe for the first 6 months, people start to get re-educated that society will govern itself. And if you are, selfish and, in an ignorant way, and society is allowed to govern itself, you'll soon learn. It's like a naughty child.
So somebody gets a couple of hidings because they're being a constant arsehole, they'll soon fucking learn.
Yeah, that's what, same as in the military. You get a blanket party. Middle of the night, somebody will come in with a blanket straight over your head, give you a good hiding. Nobody knows who's done it because they've all been under a blanket. And the next guy, he'll know when he gets up in the morning, he'll say, I must have been being a dick that week.
Hey, it's the same in boarding school. They do the same shit.
Yeah, give him a blanket. If you're causing everyone trouble, they're going to teach you. And you do with kids. Don't touch the cookies. Don't touch the cookies. And when they touch the cookies, they learn. And then they know next time, I can't touch the cookies. You don't have to lock them up or put them on the high shelf. You can leave them on the table because the child knows not to touch the cookies.
Boundaries.
Yeah. And it's when you remove the boundary. I mean, I'm not, here's the conflict. We want freedom, but we want boundaries. We have to have boundaries, and that's the conflict. What is the answer? Well,
it's getting people to start thinking about other people, because if you we have individual rights, but it's this simple concept, right? This principle that my rights end where your rights begin.
Absolutely. And if you tread on my rights, it's my right.
We live by that principle. It should govern itself, but you've got to have free-thinking, intelligent people, and people with empathy. People that care. I care. I care about my neighbours. I care about my friends. I care about lots of things. I care enough to come on here as a private individual and do these videos to try and help people, steer them in the right direction, get them away from this free man on the land, fucking maritime law, and all the other nonsense, the psyops.
Yeah, and UCCs and all these sorts of things.
And fucking magic trusts, and
it's the same with
red, blue, black pens, and doing gold pens, regal pens, and
it's like you say, you do it with your sons. You discipline your sons at an early age, and then you don't need to discipline. They've got self-respect. They've got their own moral courage and moral fibre. I keep talking about this because it's lacking in society. People seem to do what is convenient for themselves as long as they can get away with it. I mean, there's lots of experiments out there where people will do things. They will behave all nice and proper when they're being watched. But when they're not being watched, they'll be crooked and they'll do the wrong thing because they're not. Now, people that there are more genuine people that how can I put it, that won't do that. It's all a show. If you keep infringing on people and forcing people, they are more likely to break the rules when they think they can, because it's the only time they can. If every time you're being watched, the moment you're not watched, you're going to try and get away with something, because that's human nature. Whereas if you are free, like we was talking about with the sweets or the cookies or whatever. Yeah, I've got lots of self. Well, and nobody will just take them. They'll say, oh, do you mind? I say, no, of course. That's why they're there. And we need that moral fibre. We need to install self-discipline in ourselves. We need to educate ourselves on the important things. Not be scared of parking on yellow lines. Why are the council allowed to put double yellow lines in a cul-de-sac just to stop you parking, so use the car parks and make money?
And charge you. I mean, this is it really gets me, the fact that the council purchased the land. They have an acquisition, a property acquisition side to their little corporate portfolio. They purchased the land out of the public purse. We put into that public purse. And then, having purchased the land, they then charge us again to park on that land.
Yeah. Yeah.
How have we allowed that?
Yeah. There's so many. I mean, ULEZ and clean air zones.
This criminal, ULEZ is criminal. It breaches Article 12 of the English Bill of Rights.
It's also been proven in the High Court that the signs for ULEZ are unlawful. So the charges are unlawful. It's been through the High Court. The ULEZ Transport for London lost.
It's constitutionally repugnant.
Well, absolutely. But using their legislation, it's
still illegal.
It's illegal because nobody knows what ULEZ is. If you're a visitor from Spain and you don't talk, you're on holiday in a hire car, ULEZ doesn't mean anything. And there's no indication. I think the judgment said there's no indication that it's a chargeable zone.
That's right. That's correct.
It doesn't tell you how much. So therefore, it's not binding. And that went to the High Court. I can't remember the case number or anything.
Brilliant. I didn't know that.
Yeah, ULEZ, because there's no £12.50 to enter type thing, they can't charge you. But it's not 99%, a significant number pay. So I think they just keep doing it.
It's a racket.
And it's a pain to fight. These things are a pain to fight. And all that happens when you go through, I mean, I was reading off probably 6 or 7 documents for this COVID case. Okay, that's great. Each one of those documents took a significant amount of time to research and to put together and to format and to print and to serve and to file. So it's not a small task. And what happened? My case was dismissed. Great. What about every single COVID fine? Did they all get sent back? No, it was just my case.
You were the 1%.
If I fight ULEZ, what happens? I get my £12.50 back. So all that work for that one thing. Now, if my COVID case had gone through the whole process and they hadn't just bailed out and dismissed it, maybe all the COVID fines would have been refunded and returned, and all the punishments would have been quashed. Then it might be worth the dozens of hours putting all those paperwork, that paperwork together, and the cost to myself and the sacrifices, but it doesn't.
When somebody gets time-consuming.
So when somebody gets this one fine, you sit there and think, it's £12.50. You know what I mean? So you cannot blame them for not taking on the fight.
I agree. It's a quick, all right, well, pay that.
Yeah.
It's enough. I mean, for you and I, we fight it because it's the fucking principle.
Yes.
Of the matter. But for most people, it's just, just pay the £12.50. It's done. I can't be bothered with the headache.
Yeah. And then we moan the way society is, or because everything affects our mood and our energies and our response, because we are a mirror of our surroundings. What we put out, we get back, and what we get back, we put out. It's the same. It's exactly the same thing. And if everybody is so stressed, if everybody is infringed and restricted, then they're going to be negative. It's just obvious. And if I'm receiving negativity off of everybody and I'm stressed and put out and working and paying and got no time and not achieving anything, and I'm restricted, well, when somebody else gives me negativity, it's very tempting to come back and then some. And I'm no different than anybody else.
But as John Lennon said, all you need is love.
Yes. And it's hard, but somebody's got to you've got to do it for yourself. Again, it boils down to moral courage. It boils down to self-discipline. It boils down to appreciating that we are all the same. And the reason we behave the way we behave is because of the circumstances we are exposed to. So if you're behaving differently one day, maybe you've had more negativity one day, or maybe you've had more positivity and you're more light and cheery and helpful. And that's not just you. You're not unique. We are all unique, but we are also the same.
What you've said is very succinctly and brilliantly put. And I would then elaborate on that. So the way forward is finding balance, getting out in nature, grounding, doing the things that keep your vibration high, that keep you positive, that keep you happy. And as we get older, it's not so much knowing what you want in life, it's knowing what you certainly don't want and what you're not prepared to suffer. And I've always said, you get what you're prepared to suffer.
Yes, absolutely. And right now, I think my personal view is we're getting close to what people are prepared to put up with. And there's only one way this will all end. As you know, you can read many history books that tell you how things end. You know, people don't just get up one day, those with all the power and all the control and all of the money, and say, you know what, yeah, all right, let's call it a day. We've had a good run. It doesn't work like that. You know, yeah, that's basically it. So,
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Hey folks, Gavin here, and I want to talk real quick about our main sponsor, Dr. Frederick Graves and his groundbreaking law course. Have you ever felt lost in the legal system? Maybe you faced a summons, a traffic ticket, a small claims dispute, or something bigger, and the thought of standing before a judge made your stomach drop. You're not alone. The courtroom can feel like a maze, full of rules and jargon that seem impossible to crack. But what if I told you there's a way to walk in with confidence, ready to win? That's where the jurisdictionary law course comes in. Created by Dr. Frederick Graves, an attorney with over 40 years of winning cases, this course is your guide to mastering the courtroom. It's packed with everything you need: video seminars, audio clips, and in-depth classes that break down every step, from filing pleadings to winning appeals. You'll get flowcharts, sample forms, even a legal dictionary that makes sense of those tricky terms. And it's all online 24/7, so you can learn on your phone or laptop whenever it suits you. Imagine this: instead of feeling scared or unsure, you step into court knowing exactly what to say, how to say it, when to say it, and what to do. Whether you're fighting on your own or teaming up with a solicitor, this course hands you the tools to take charge. You'll learn how to present evidence that sticks, get judges to listen, and make sure everyone plays by the rules. Good people like you have struggled too long because they didn't know how to fight back. But with jurisdictionary, that changes. In just a few days, you'll have skills that take law students years to master. And here's the best part: once you finish the course, you'll earn an honorary law degree, proof you're a force to be reckoned with. So why let fear hold you back? This isn't just about understanding the law. It's about using it to protect what matters: your rights, your family, your future. Whether it's civil or criminal, you'll be ready to conquer any courtroom challenge. And it's easier than you think, step-by-step guidance that's quick to learn and simple to follow. Don't wait for the next legal hurdle to catch you off guard. Click the link below right now to get started. Take that first step today and unlock the power to win. Because with jurisdictionary, the courtroom isn't a maze anymore. It's your chance to shine. Right then, let's crack on and get back to the video, shall we?
Much of your time. Could I ask, Simon, and can I just say thank you so much for coming on, because I've been hassling this poor fella for a while, but it's only because I respect him greatly, and I think he's a great bloke, and I've seen his interactions many times on the groups that I go on, the Telegram groups, and he's so helpful. He's real service to others, and so he's agreed to come on because, because of his helpful, decent, humble nature. So I'd like to say thank you to you, Simon. And can I ask, what do you recommend? I mean, you and I have both done the jurisdictionary course. Do you recommend the course? And what are your thoughts? What are your conclusions and advice for the audience? May I ask, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the jurisdictionary course will help without a doubt. Don't be worried that it's based in America, because American law is obviously based on our law. Some of our politicians and dignitaries at the time helped write their constitution and bits and pieces. It's the principles in the course and how you go about things that are really important and really helpful. And they will help you to develop an interest and hopefully be confident when, unfortunately, not if, somebody trespasses against you or tries to impose on you, as they do everywhere. If you can't afford the jurisdictionary course, I mean, Dr. Greaves is probably not going to be happy. Maybe two of you together share the access code and share the cost. But it will be very informative, and it will help you to develop an interest, which in itself will breed better knowledge. The more you read, the more you'll learn, and the freer you'll be. When you can keep people off your case, you'll be a lot freer.
It's for say $200. It's around $200, I believe, which probably equates to around
250, I think it is.
Oh, it's $250. So you're looking around 210 quid. A share between 205 quid. You've got access for 2 years. The course is a life changer.
Yeah,
I don't think you can litigate without it personally, or you can, but this is the shortcut. This will get you there quicker, because then you understand it simplifies, it puts everything into a formula, a simple formula. Breaks down what you need to be doing, and there's very few anomalies. The American version of discovery is our disclosure. You look at the rules of civil procedure. You just read. You go online, gov.uk, civil procedure rules, and just read through it. And instead of their version of disclosure is discovery, instead of discovery, it's look at disclosure rules, evidence. Boom. It's all laid out into sections, but the course will take you through very succinctly and very simple how to litigate, to the point I would be confident of putting my 10-year-old son down to do the course, and I think he could do it.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it is essential learning. Anybody that's doing any litigating for themselves will tell you that, whether it's in America or here, you're going to be spending a lot of time that's not going to be as productive as it would be if you knew what you were doing or where you're going. And, as Damien was saying, it's just there's a lot of read over. So if there's a motion, as they call it in America, or rule in America, pound to a pinch, the same rule exists in our rules here, and you could probably do a word search, or heaven forbid, you could probably use an AI bot to say what's the equivalent, and it would find that rule for you, and then you could read that rule and around that rule, and you say yes, that fits. Because there are a lot of pages to the civil procedure rules and the criminal procedure rules, and no matter how many times you read them, you always need to read them again when you use them.
Yes.
So and you'll have to read the nuances and bits and pieces. So some of the AI bots will point you straight to the rule that you want. A lot of it is wrong on the AI bots. Don't get me, don't misunderstand me. They make things up, and you can say, you made that up, didn't you? And they'll go, yes, sorry about that. So don't do it again then. And you go, oh, okay.
No, it's a good shout if because you can always double check.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It does the research for you. It finds what you're looking for. Like, tell me what the answer to this. The answer is this. Where's the source for that? It'll give you the source. You can then go to the source and check that it's not made it up and giving you a bum steer. And then you say, right,
rather than reading through the whole of the civil, which I've done on many, many occasions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it takes hours and hours and hours. You sit and think. So,
and your eyes start going, you think, fucking hell, I feel a bit sleepy now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people will read the enforcements of bailiffs and council tax, and they cross-reference, and it's very, very difficult to find the right sections. It takes many, many readings of the legislation before you can find your way around it, confidently. Whereas AI will just say, read this. And you think, nah, he's made that one up. No, you made that one up. And he'll go, oh, yeah, we'll try this one. Ah, that one's good. And it just helps you find the correct rule. And when you charge...
That's a good shout.
Yeah, well, when you charge with anything as well, they will give you the section you charge by. So that's a good place. And then you can do some reading online for case studies relevant to that case law, and you'll find that. And the thing with case law is it'll always reference further case law. And it's amazing how much case law that's relevant you can find once you've got that first hook.
Yeah.
The thing builds and grows itself. You just get that first hook, and as long as you can get that, whether it's from the charging order or just general, I find now, pick a subject that you're interested in and just go read case law on that, and you'll find it fascinating. The way the top judges write and think, it will help you in your writing, for sure. It does mine. And don't forget, Thomas Paine writes a man.
But can I just say that was a great tip, because not only are you sourcing the case law to support your argument to the court, which is very relevant and very necessary. Secondly, what a great tip. When you're reading through all these case law, it does, it shows you how they're using the legal terminology, how they use the grammar, etc. They interpret the law. That's a great tip, Simon.
Yeah, there's lots in there. Case law is fantastic. You obviously you'll use the quotes that support your arguments, but the structure of their sentences and they come up with arguments, and even though they're not relevant for that particular case, and they dismiss it, they've raised that argument and think, that actually fits in my case. So although it wasn't relevant for this case, they say, had neither party proffered that such and such, had they done, then I would have been.
Yeah, that's relevant then to what you're doing.
This, and you think, well, I'll put that one in mine then.
That's great.
Then, so they're basically writing a lot of it for you. The structure's very, it is formulaic. Get the jurisdictionary. That tells you how to go about it. It tells you the steps that to do, and they're all relevant over here. It will be money well spent if you can afford it. I mean, times are hard for everybody, even more so. But maybe get together with a few friends and have a law class, in the local church hall Tuesday nights. I don't know,
or at the pub, local pub, quiet corner.
Yeah, instead of playing dominoes as they used to, if there are still local pubs on the quiet corners or whatever, how they do book clubs. Well, here's something you can say. Well, I've got this case law, whatever it may be, or choose a case law and come back and discuss it, on a Tuesday night over a beer.
Also, another good tip. The solicitors, the lawyers, they have access. Certainly, the corporate ones have access to Lex Jus. So just as in justice. Now, what I've done on many occasions is just sign up for 7 days. So you get access to all the case law that they have access to. A lot of it they hide, you see, and for free for 7 days. So just say you're using, say, the English Bill of Rights, Article 12. For a matter of fact, you're dealing with a school fine or a PCN or this, that, and the other, right? I've just given you an example. You could then, with your 7 days free, go on there and bring up every case law regarding Article 12, the English Bill of Rights. And suddenly you've got access to hundreds and hundreds of pages each case, and you read through and you can just print them off. And then, okay, right, I need case law for this, and I print a load off, and just print loads and loads of case law off. Use it for 7 days. I mean, these lawyers, they're paying thousands for this tool. Lex Justice or VLex Just. It costs thousands.
Yeah.
You can use an email, get access to that for 7 days, and then go back and get all the cases, because The other case law, the free site is something called Bailey, but that doesn't have half the case law that you can get on VLEX. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost like for the public forum, okay, you can have this amount of case law, but over here, the corporate lawyers get all of it.
Yeah.
But you can only have a third of it over here. Am I making sense? That's what I've seen.
Yeah.
And that's what I've experienced.
You can also get it on from the National Archives. Will hold.
Yes.
I mean, if you do an internet search, then that sometimes will bring stuff up. But yeah, like Damien's saying, Westlaw and the likes are the main sources. But once you find, I mean, a lot of issues are dealt with. Some of the main cases are quoted for lots of different things. So I've got like a dozen cases that fit multiple arguments.
Yes.
So I will quote this particular case for several issues. Oh, it fits here, it fits there, depending on what they're. So you do end up having your favourite pieces of case law that are very, very versatile.
And relevant to lots of different cases. You're quite right. And also, you find because you've written out, your claims, your defences, your legal notices, etc., a lot of it's written up for you. You've already templated it. You've got that saved and stored, so it's a lot quicker and easier to put your paperwork together.
Yeah. And I would say when you do paperwork, don't worry too much about the formality of it. There's it's just I mean, my headings and things, when I first started writing things, I think, what do I title it? How do I divide it up into sections? And the answer is, it doesn't really matter.
No.
You can make an application to pick your nose. You can make an application, it must be an application for this. It must, it has to be titled that. It can be titled whatever fits your narrative. You can divide it up into the sections, whatever fits your narrative, as long as it's got an introduction, the meat of the thing, and the summary or the conclusion. And
but these books do have templates that the solicitors use.
I've never used it. I've never used a template.
Well, no, I'm just saying. No,
Yeah.
I did mine from scratch. I found my own niche, and that's what I do. But for the wider audience, it's got all that in here. And I buy these off eBay. I don't think I paid more than £5 for these secondhand.
Yeah.
So it's got everything you need in there, and then you've got the criminal procedure one, you've got legal foundations, you've got family law. You haven't got to pay big money for these guys. £5. And they've got loads of notes from previous lawyers in there. You get some right gems.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that's, but don't be intimidated by them either.
No.
Just as a normal lay person that just wants to write it, and you say, you can call it background, and then just say, well, this happened to me, and this, that, and the other, and say, arguments, just something like that. My arguments, and you can call it, and they say, well, I don't believe this is right because of this, and then your summary or your conclusion or your remedy, request. You can do it in just plain English, and
which you've done with this one for Loughborough magistrates, which you've said we can include in the link. And what Simon's saying, I don't mean to interrupt there, my friend. I'm just elaborating on that. Obviously, you have written this in plain English, and it's brilliantly put. It's simple to read. It's matter of fact, and it's well articulated. And I think the audience, certainly those just starting out, because I know, it would seem quite intimidating if somebody's just stumbled across this video. They're watching it, it's going to be, it is quite intimidating at the beginning. It doesn't have to be. Just take your time. start with the Law Express books that the GCSE and A-level students use. Start with those, just work in slowly and read Simon's application notice here. Just get a feel for it, see what he's written, have a look at the legislation he's used supporting his argument, the CPR, what he said. You know, like I said, my 10-year-old son could read this and understand what he's saying. And the great man out in America, I've got his bloody name. Alphonse's mentor.
Oh, Steve.
Right. Steve, as he says, and he's quite right, he says you should write a lawsuit that the man, the homeless man under the bridge, can read and understand. And that stuck with me when he said that. I think that, you know, that's bloody right, isn't it?
It has to be clear and easy to follow. And if it's not, then you obviously need to go back and reread it and then think, well, what's this sentence adding? Nothing, right? Well, it's adding confusion then. You know, it's obfuscating, it's taking away the impact of this statement because it's fluffy in it or whatever. And when you've gone through it again, you're sitting thinking, now what's it say? Now it's sharp. Now it's sharp and to the point and it flows. Okay, I'm there or thereabouts. Well, there or thereabouts, that'll do for me. You know, that's good enough. It'll hopefully achieve what I want it to achieve. And again, we're talking on the hypotheticals. If people are going to court, then they really should not just jump into the court issue. They should do a little bit of reading. They should do a little bit of jurisdiction. They should follow people like Alphonse or whatever and read some lawsuits and case law, and they'll get an idea. I think, right, I may not have fought anything before, but I'm not going in like an idiot. I'll go in with some structure and it'll be clear the points that I make. I may lose, and let's be honest, in the lower courts, everybody pretty much, unless you've got a watertight case, will probably get railroaded because you won't know how, or you won't feel confident to object. You won't know what to object to. You won't know how to ask questions or to cross-examine. But that'll all come organically. It really will. The more you do this thing and you read others, and the more you expose yourself to this thing, it just organically happens. You don't need to be super smart. Not at all. It's keep it simple, stupid, as they say, and that's me. I'm not by any means some kind of lawyer or trainee lawyer or anything.
None of us are. We have common sense, and we're well read. We've done a lot of reading,
and we have right on our side. If we are right, that's all we need to get across. We don't need to flower it up. We need to get it across that we are right, and this bit of case law or this legislation says we are right.
It's my argument. You're bang on. I think that's really nicely put.
Yeah. So, just make that leap, I would say to people. Is it rather than sit and watch Celebrity Jungle or whatever it is, maybe watch a video like this or other videos that are out there that encourage you or share a bit of knowledge.
I agree. Rather than masturbating in front of the Celebrity Jungle nonsense, you're better off start reading some law books.
Oh, it's all instead of being indoctrinated or programmed, do your own programming.
So here's the kicker. Stop masturbating, start reading.
That's a big ask.
So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much, mate.
All right, my friend.
Honestly, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Love talking to you. I know the audience, I love everything you've said because you speak a lot of sense. and it's wonderful. So let me thank you, and hopefully I can persuade to get you back on next week and talk more cases and more law. But yeah, if I can just say thank you, and God bless you.
And you, Damien. I think you're doing great, and you know, the more people who are doing this, the better. The more people that get on board, or just listen, or just even become aware. If they're not ready to fight, you know, then support.
It's getting it out into the public consciousness, and that's what we're doing, my friend.
Do you find the legal system overwhelming and wish you had the knowledge and skill sets to control judges, persuade attorneys, and win your case? Well, look no further. Sovereign Empowerment is proud to announce our partnership with Dr. Frederick Graves so that we can bring you the Jurisdictionary Law course, How to Win in Court, your ultimate resource for mastering the courtroom. Unlock powerful case-winning strategies as you learn to control judges like never before. This comprehensive course eliminates guesswork and empowers you to navigate the legal landscape with absolute confidence. With step-by-step instructions, flowcharts, and outlines, you'll have all the tools you need to persuade and control judges in any case or court. Learn from a seasoned attorney with over 40 years of winning experience, who has distilled his expertise into this comprehensive program. Access everything you need in one single package, including sample forms, video seminars, audio clips, and in-depth case-winning classes. Learn at your own pace, anytime, anywhere. Our 24/7 online access allows you to tailor your learning experience to fit your schedule. Access the course on your smartphone, tablet, or computer and become a legal master whenever and wherever you want. Benefit from a suite of powerful tools, including a free online legal research tool, a legal dictionary with common sense definitions, and an exclusive Q&A forum to connect with fellow students and obtain expert guidance. Good people have suffered too long at the hands of power because they just didn't know how to fight back. Now, in a matter of just a few days, you can acquire the tools and knowledge that takes law students years to achieve. Can't afford a lawyer? No problem. With the Jurisdictionary Law course, you'll gain the skills to win your case without expensive legal representation. Alternatively, equip your own legal consult with the tools and tactics to fight effectively on your behalf. Level the playing field and secure your victory. No matter what court, civil or criminal, conquer any courtroom challenge with ease. This step-by-step guidance ensures a quick and straightforward learning experience, empowering you to navigate the legal system with bulletproof confidence. As a testament to your newfound legal expertise, you'll have the opportunity to complete a final exam and receive an honorary law degree upon successful completion of the course. Showcase your achievement and establish yourself as a force to be reckoned with in the legal arena. Dr. Graves believes everyone deserves access to legal knowledge. That's why we offer the Jurisdictionary Law course at an unbeatable price. For less than the cost of a 1-hour legal consultation, you'll gain unlimited access to this complete program for up to 2 full years. Take control of your legal battles without breaking the bank. How to Win in Court has become the most trusted law course worldwide since 1997. Don't miss out on this exclusive opportunity to gain the upper hand in the courtroom. Enroll in the official Jurisdictionary Law course today and unleash your legal power. Click the link in the description below to become legally empowered today.